You hear us back there, all the way back there? Okay.
Hello, NoBrandCon people.
Hello.
Welcome to the titillating voice acting panel. Thank you for coming. I think we should introduce ourselves, especially Jason.
Especially me?
Especially you. I come here a lot.
Oh.
I get around.
Hello, I'm Jason Griffith. I do the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog, Tom Majors in Chaotic, Chico Riki and Go-Go Riki, and various other cartoons, animes, and so forth. It's nice to be here. This is my first convention ever.
It is, so you should be nice to know. Hello, I am Tiffany Grant, and I've worked on lots of stuff, and like Ava and Go-Danner and One Piece, which we were just talking about earlier, and lots and lots of other stuff that you probably don't know. So there you go. That was me.
Robert Axelrod. And besides...
He's awesome.
Yes. Besides doing Lord Zed and Finster on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you might know me as Wizard Man and Armadillo Man on Digimon. And, yes. Rico on Robotech, first 35 episodes. And a host of others that will probably come up in our discussions.
Yeah.
I just finished Fist of the North Star, which is coming out in the fall. So that's good. Yeah. Huh?
In Fist of the North Star, what role?
Oh, gosh.
We didn't know there was a pop.
The sleazy bad guy was one of them. And I don't write these things down. I'm so poor at stuff like this that I probably forget Wizard Man and Digimon half the time. I forget stuff, but I'll get a copy of it and I'll let you know. I'll be getting a copy of it pretty soon.
Failed on the pop quiz. It's terrible. So, just to start off with, do you guys have like burning questions, things that you must know? Things you've been dreaming about asking us for months on end. So how did you get started in voice acting, Jason?
Oh boy. I got started in voice acting completely by accident. Well,
That is awesome.
accident. I moved to New York to become a television actor and a stage actor. And just had been doing goofy voices my whole life, sort of imitating people in my family. So actually, this is a true story. I was doing an outgoing message on my answering machine like a game show host. And my agent called to give me an audition for like a commercial, and they were looking for someone to do the voice of a game show host in a commercial. And they heard that and said, oh, well, send Jason. I went and I booked the job, and I booked like 300 jobs after that. And so it was completely by accident, but you know. That's
pretty much, I think, how it happens for most people. I love to hear that people's stories because I've gone to a lot of conventions, I've met a lot of voice actors, and most people's stories are something like that. Not necessarily the game show host, but you know, whatever. Yeah. Lisa Ortiz got into voice acting because her car broke down. You know, it's a typical thing. Yeah, right. Because her car broke down. Ask her the story sometime. I know, she's awesome.
How did you get started?
Oh, thank you for asking, Jason. That's an excellent question. Well, I started out on stage, which is how most actors start out because it's the easy way to get in. Usually there's some way that you can act, like at your high school or community theater or something, where you don't even have to pay anything to start acting, you know, as in like when you go to college, you have to pay to go to college. But there are lots of ways. But anyway, so that was my background. And like you, always enjoy doing voices of anybody, not necessarily family members, just random people on the TV, or sounds of machines and various objects. Like I have a compulsion when I dial anybody on the fax machine. You know how you punch the number into the fax machine and then you hear it and it goes beep, 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 like that. So I have to make the sound of the fax machine. It's weird. Yeah, so I actually heard about, a friend of mine called me up one day and said, there's this local company and they're looking for actors because they want to start dubbing some animated show from Japan, and I remember that you're an actor, so I thought I'd let you know about the audition, and that's literally how I got into it. Somebody just, they were looking for actors. That was ADV Films in Houston, and that was a little over 15 years ago. They had released a few shows that were subtitled. They figured if they were going to reach a wider audience, they needed to start dubbing them into English. And they didn't really know how to find actors, so the whole company was like 5 people, and they all said to each other, now look, if anybody knows somebody who's an actor, call them and tell them to come to our audition. And that's what happened. Somebody who, like a friend of a friend, heard about the audition and said, hey Tiffany, you're an actor, you should go to that audition. And I was like, voices for cartoons or something like that. Well, that sounds like something that's awesome. So I went down and I auditioned and they hired me. And that is literally how I did it, sort of by accident, like you said. And then all of these years later, just done a whole bunch of them. And how did you get started in voice acting?
Well, I had always fooled around with voices, and I got to do some radio in college, which was mainly spinning records, but we did little skits, little comedy skits in between the records and fooled around with comic voices and things. And then I was an actor in New York, very well trained, thank goodness, because it served me in good stead. And I went knocking on doors one day just to see what kind of trouble I could get into. And I found this Japanese company that wanted to send me to Japan to do cartoon voices. I was 19 and I was not ready to go to Japan, so I turned it down. I was scared. I didn't have any parental guidance whatsoever. My parents didn't want me to be an actor. They wanted me to do something else that was safer. Cut to Los Angeles around 1980, and I was doing an on-camera show with Hans Conried. Anybody remember Hans Conried?
Oh.
He's an old-time actor. Yeah, old-time actor. He was one of the voices on Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, he used to do the fractured flippers. Yeah, that's Hans Conried. So he was hosting, it was called Rumpel's Last Stand, and I played Androcles, and I had a lion, and not a real lion, a guy playing a lion in a lion outfit. And it was a very cute little children's show. We did singing and dancing and funny skits. And the same studio was doing a cartoon series called Banner the Squirrel. So I asked to audition for it, and I got the role of Banner the Squirrel, the lead role. And there were about 4 of us, and it was ADR. It was automated dialogue replacement, dubbing. And so we did 10 episodes of that, and I learned how to dub by doing that. And I had to learn real quickly. And it was done on very primitive equipment, so we had to get chunks of the thing perfectly. That's how I got into it. And then I auditioned for more ADR and started getting jobs. And the rest, I just worked and worked and widened my scope to doing radio commercials and things. And here I am before you today.
Yeah, something that I noticed is that there seems to be some element to everyone's story that's a little bit of luck involved, like the chance that you happened to record the game show host message on your phone, you know, but it's something that you had in mind that you were pursuing. Like I like to point out to people that yes, somebody did happen to call me out of the blue and tell me that this audition was happening, but the whole reason that they called me and told me is because I was an actor.
Right.
They weren't just calling every single person they knew or just going to the Houston telephone directory and, hey, Sally, are you an actor? Well, here's this audition. So you kind of have to be going in that direction before it falls in your lap or you get that opportunity. And I think that once you do get, like you were saying, you've got that one job and then everything followed after that.
It's like a snowball effect.
Right. You get the first one and then they're much more likely to call you in again, which is what I call the plumber effect.